we'll start with Tyler Donahue. Make sure you use your raise your hand feature, and we'll get you a question for Coach. Tyler?
Thanks, Chris. Good morning, John. How are you?
Good morning, Tyler. How are you, man?
I'm great. Thanks for asking. How have you seen Keziah Izzard and Devon Ellis respond to PJ going down and having to take on expanded roles?
Well, first of all, both of those young men, I think, have done a nice job of stepping up and having bigger roles within our unit. We've always had from day one, the thing that we preach is it's the next man up mentality. And, you don't replace a PJ Mustipher, but what you try to do is get guys to step up and guys all do their, 1/11th, as we say all the time. And, you get a combination, a group of guys feeling that, and that's how you feel the role. But both those guys have raised their game. And, I think you continue to see with Keziah Izzard, he just got better and better as he was in there with the reps he was getting. And, the young man does a good job. He just doesn't seem phased. He goes in there and does a good job. And, it's been nice to see Devon Ellis grow this season compared to last year, his maturity and mastering the defense. And it's been nice to have him in there. He's done a nice job for us as well.
Audrey Snyder, then Joe Giuliano.
Hey, John, good morning. Thanks for your time.
Audrey, good morning. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for asking. I'm curious how you've kind of seen your defensive end depth develop this year. What do you think of guys like Zariah Fisher? And I know James has mentioned wanting to get 5 deep there. Do you feel like you guys are any closer to that now?
I do, Audrey. I think, even going into this season, one of the things that, I felt like, as the season played out and got going, that you were going to see a guy like Zariah Fisher just continue to rise. He was a linebacker last year and moved over with us in the spring, and you saw all the things that you wanted to see out of having a really good end. And then over the summer, it's kind of evolved, and now as Zariah has begun to master the defense, and it slows down for you, so now that athletic ability can take over. I've been very happy and pleased with the way he is progressing. So, you're right. We'd like to get to 5, and, Smith's another steady guy that's continued to come on. So, we're at that point in the season where you do feel like you've got 5 guys over there that you can put in the game, and those guys will go in and do their job and be productive for us. But I'm really excited about those young guys.
Joe Giuliano, and then Mark Brennan.
Good morning, John.
Good morning. How you doing, Joe?
I'm doing fine, thanks. How you doing?
Good, man.
Good. Hey, Michigan has one of the best running attacks in the country. Just wondered what you have to do to keep them under control, and could you describe the importance of getting off the field on 3rd down?
Absolutely. Michigan's got a really, really good rushing attack, just like you said, Joe. They are committed to running the football. I want to say they're top 5 in the country in running the football. So we know it's going to be a tremendous challenge for our group. We're going to have to do a great job of being physical and playing, striking our keys and getting off blocks. And our guys have practiced and prepared that way. So we know it'll be a great challenge. They like to run the ball. They got a really good running back with number 25 that I think is an NFL guy. So, we'll have our work cut out for us. But, I believe the one thing that our group has shown us, we're resilient. And, our guys will be ready to go on Saturday, man. But we got to do a great job of being physical up front and playing on their side of the ball. And, I couldn't agree more with you about we've got to do a great job of getting off the field on 3rd down. And part of that success for us to get off the field on 3rd down, we've got to keep them. They can't have 3rd and short every time either, because they're very big up front. So, they can lean forward and get a half a yard. So we got to do a great job of managing 1st and 2nd down to where it's not, 3rd and 1 or 3rd and 2 every time. So, that all works together, but we got to do a great job on 1st and 2nd down and limiting the amount of yards they get, so we're not in 3rd and shorts. And obviously, when you get those opportunities, we've got to get off the field. got to be really good on third down.
Mark Brennan and then Greg Pickle.
Hey, John, thanks for your time today.
Yes, sir. How you doing, Mark?
I'm doing great. Hey, what do you think about the way AK has kind of fit in? I mean, did you expect this sort of impact from him when you guys got him? And where do you think he still has some areas to improve to make himself more attractive to that next level? Thanks.
Well, thank you, Mark. Well, I think for AK, when we first knew he was interested in coming here, when you watch his tape, he popped on his tape at Temple just with some of the flash plays that he would make, just pure athleticism and overall talent. When you looked at some of his athletic movements, you were like, man, this guy kind of reminds you a little bit of a cross between Owe with some of the athletic things he can do, and then the savviness that Shaka had. And so we knew we were getting that type of guy. But when he got here, Mark, I mean, we didn't, you always think that but you don't really know with transfer kids until they get in here. And I tell you what, AK came in here and Congo and bought in 100% to what we were doing in the off season, to our message, our 4 core values. And he didn't come in talking. He came in and worked. And I think he got the respect of his teammates and the coaches immediately when we saw that. And, as a football player, one of the things coming in the spring that we talked to AK about, hey, man, he's got to, had to be more physical in the run game because the scheme he was in at his other university, they allowed him to use his athleticism here. And we play, the style of football that we play in the Big Ten. You can't run around blocks. You got to strike and you got to be able to get off blocks and set edges. And so AK bought into that, and that's something that he hadn't worked a whole lot. So he really worked on it in the spring and got better over the summer. And I think you guys are seeing that, in the fall. First game we had him, we were messing with him so much. He was like, man, you're about to see your first, 6'5", 6'6" tight end, AK, that weighs more than you. What are you going to do? And I think the first play he has a TFL, and the second play he knocks the tight end 3 yards in the backfield. So, he's adapted to that. And, I think you asked me what do I think that he needs to continue to work on for the next level. I think he's just got to continue to hone his craft, continue being physical on the tight ends and in the run game and being a great edge setter, and just continue to work his craft with his pass rush. There's always little things that you continue to get better, whether it's developing another counter move off your primary move, just things like that. So it's all the little things that he's working on. He works on it every day. He works after practice on those things. So we've been very pleased to have AK and to see what he's been able to do for us this year at Penn State, and what we've been able to do for him. It's been really, really good. Been very blessed to have that young man.
Greg Pickle, then Rich Scarcella.
Hey, Coach, thanks for your time.
Hey, Greg, how are you?
I'm well, thanks. How are you doing?
Good, man. Doing well.
Fantastic. Hey, when you talk about Michigan's run game, if they would take a page rather out of Illinois' playbook and do a lot of that jumbo stuff and big lines and things like that, what'd you guys learn from that game that would help you combat it this time around? Should Michigan or any other team that likes to run line up that way again?
Well, they already have that, Greg, that component in their offense, where they bring in the extra offensive linemen, or, they bring in, they go 13 personnel and they put an offensive lineman in a tight end number. So, we've looked at that, and the kids have looked at that on tape. So we have, prepared accordingly. So, again, I think with, who they are and what they're trying to be, and they're committed to running the football. I mean, it'd be no surprise at all if, to see them line up and try to do that. So, we've looked at that. Our kids have seen it on tape, and they won't be caught off guard if that's what Michigan tries to do.
Rich Scarcella and then Luciano Chatelain.
Hi, John. How are you today?
Hey, Rich, how you doing, man?
I'm all right, thanks. Of course, Mr. Pickle took my question, so I have a question for you. James mentioned this earlier in the week. Can you describe your pass rushing philosophy about guys staying in their lanes, not allowing scrambles, not getting upfield. How do you balance that as the line coach?
Well, I try to have our guys, Rich. Obviously, we all want sacks and we want to work edges and get sacks. But, with that is, I think in college football, I think more than ever, quarterbacks are like really good athletes and they all can run. So I think one of the things that you have to be able to do is you have to be able to box quarterbacks in. And so we all want to get on edges, but I think it's especially the inside guys, you have to be very conscientious, how you're rushing your edge. And if I'm a 3 technique and I got a 2-eye inside, where are the potential escape hatches the quarterback can escape if I just rush my gap? So I try to have our guys mindful of that. So, sometimes it's based on how we're rushing the ends where they're outside edge rushers, then that may make the inside guys, more, we have to be more conscientious of closing off the inside seams if those guys are rushing off the edge to box them in. When you watch games, and I see it all the time when we watch and study film, if a quarterback's escaping inside, Rich, I guarantee you 1 or 2 things have happened. Either both tackles have basically became 3 techniques on the outside edges of the guard, and they've got pushed up the field, and the quarterback's able to knife it directly. That's happened. Or you've had a situation where somebody has gotten in the slot, somebody's gotten pushed all the way over. So my philosophy is I try to teach our guys they know how to rush. Like when you get the slide, that's the center and the guard and the tackle turning one way, and I'm on the inside. And because O-lines can isolate the one guy over there and create a natural seam that we understand how to turn back in the center to compress that pocket and close that off. So, I think just having a good awareness of that. And that's one of the things that I learned and studied when I was in the NFL, Rich, about just having great pocket containment. And when you do that, and it was great for us at South Carolina, I think we had 4 or 5 guys up front with 7 or more sacks apiece. Everybody's able to get sacks when you pinch it off and close up the pocket. And, knock on wood, if you look at us this year, it's been few and far between that quarterbacks have scrambled inside up the middle off of us, and that's been good, because the last thing you want if you're in man coverage and the quarterback scrambling up the middle and guys have got their back turns, that's a big play, so we've been able to do a nice job of that. But as we rush, we want to be on edges, but we also want to have the mindset of, hey man, we got to make sure we have great pocket integrity too. I don't know if that answers your question, Grace.
Luciano Chatelaine, and then we'll go back to Tyler Donahue.
Hey, Coach, I hope you're doing well, and thanks for your time this morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
Doing well, thanks. I know you're worried about Michigan's offensive line and not their defensive line, but I wanted to ask about Aiden Hutchinson. What are your thoughts on him and what makes him such a special player?
I've had a chance to watch him just a little bit, when we're studying other teams, or, I just, from what I've seen on tape, I think the guy plays with a high motor. He's a really, really good edge player, and he plays relentless. He plays the style that, that every coach wants, how they want their guys to play. They play hard, he's relentless, and that makes him a problem. He's good, and he's a good technician. He's really good at what he does.
Go Tyler Donahue and then Audrey Snyder.
John, I think we last got you on one of these calls right after week 1. Can you tell us how far Jesse Lucetta has come since then, and how unique of a situation does he face here in the next couple months, where he is a 4th-year college guy, but he's so new to this position and he seems to be flashing there?
I tell you what, Tyler, it's funny you asked me that question, because when I go back and you watch from the first time he was in there and you see how he's playing it now, it's impressive. Again, I think what the young man is doing is impressive, going from Mike linebacker with those eyes down the defensive end and changing your eyes and your techniques and fundamentals. It's a lot, and he handles it with such ease. But I think Jesse's gotten better at that position. I think he's more comfortable. You just see things just happening for him naturally. his reactions to things. I think he's got a really good feel for it. I mean, it's been fun as a coach to see him grow from that first game, which seems like 2 years ago, until right now in the way he's playing.
Audrey Snyder, then Mark Brennan.
Hey, John, at this point in the year, like we've seen Adisa Isac walking around at practice and those kinds of things. Where is he at with his recovery, and what's it been like getting to kind of see him work his way back, and in what ways has maybe he grown behind the scenes this year?
Well, Audrey, I'm not sure about his timetable and all that kind of good stuff, but I'll speak to the part of just I love Adisa Isac, and so having him around and seeing him working out again and just being around our group has been great. Anybody that knows Adisa kind of knows his story. He's such a unique kid, and and when somebody gets in that situation, a lot of times you see it go the other way where they're down all the time and they kind of give up a little bit. Adisa's been just the opposite. He's embraced it. He's tackled the challenge. He's getting after it. Having the additional time in the weight room and doing everything he can. And then, doing a great job with his academics and being around our guys has been really positive. His personality, it's infectious and it grows on our guys. So seeing him walk around and in good spirits and knowing that he's doing everything he can to get back and seeing him start to come back, it's been really good, Audrey. We've missed him this year, and I know that he'll be really good for us down the road. But yeah, it's been nice having him around.
Got time for two more. We'll start with Mark Brennan and then finish up with Greg Pickle.
John, you've recruited hundreds of other people's kids through the years. What's it like for you as a dad to see your son starting to go through that process? You're on the other side of it now.
It's funny. It's funny you asked me that, but I tell you what, my son was so excited when he got his first offer, and I was so proud and excited for him. Just because I know how hard he's worked, and he was like, Dad, just last week, he was like, Dad, no coaches are following me on my Twitter. He's like, do you think I'll be recruited? And I was like, yes, man, just keep playing hard. You're kind of a little bit of what we would say is a late bloomer. And, when he got his first offer a couple of days ago, as a dad, I'm not gonna lie, I was almost in tears. I was just so happy for him just to get it, and just seeing the elation on his face and his reaction. He was super proud. And so was I. So, I'm like, that's really good. Anything to, help that cost down the road too. That college is always good, man. But I'm super excited, Mark. It was really cool to see. And it does feel different being on the other side, having a child now that's being recruited. So, but it was really special. It was fun.
And we'll finish up with Greg Pickle.
Hey, Coach, a little bit in the same vein as the Adisa Isac question. PJ Mustipher has been seen, supporting guys and doing things like that. What is it still, what is he doing at this point for your team, even though he can't play? And then what is your message to him about the future? Obviously, with the COVID year, guys like him have decisions to make. What will your message be to him when that point in time comes?
Well, first of all, Greg, PJ Mustipher is the rock in our room. So and on our football team, having that guy around talking to Keziah and Devon and Zariah and Smith and, all those guys and Jordan Vandenberg and Fatoma Moba, just having that guy around, speaks volumes. He's got the utmost respect. You're talking about a guy that was playing outstanding football, and I thought he played well last year, was playing outstanding football this year. He does everything the right way. This is the same guy that, after the injury was up in there supporting his guys and couldn't stand up and just was, leading the charge. And so having him around, and he's here every day, is such a big deal for us. And the guys depend on him. PJ watches tape with those younger guys. He just does so much. You can't replace a guy like that, and my message to, PJ and I I'm sure we'll talk and whatnot after the season on what he's doing with that right now. But, you know, obviously, you know, you want to do what's in the best interest of the young man. So, you know, we'll figure out what that is. But I love PJ Mustipher and what he represents for our room and our football team. That guy, you can't replace a guy like that.
Thank you very much for your time, Coach. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you Saturday.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate the time.
Recording stopped.